Hello, everyone. Today, I want to share with you a beautiful story that Jesus told, a story about mistakes, forgiveness, and love that never runs out. It's called the Prodigal Son, and you'll find it in the Bible in Luke chapter 15, verses 11 through 32. Once upon a time, there was a man who had two sons. They all lived together on a big piece of land. This father was kind and generous, and his family had everything they needed. The older son worked hard in the fields, helping his father every day. The younger son, though, was a bit different. He didn't want to stay home forever. He wanted adventure, excitement, and freedom. One day, the younger son came up to his father with a bold request. He said, "Father, I want my share of your money now. I don't want to wait until you're gone. I want to go and live my own life." Now imagine how the father must have felt, hurt, maybe disappointed. But he loved his son so much that he gave him what he asked for. He divided his wealth and handed the younger son his share of the inheritance. And just like that, the younger son packed his bags, waved goodbye, and set off to a faraway land, dreaming of a life full of fun and freedom. At first, the younger son felt like he was living the dream. He spent his money on parties, fancy clothes, and new friends. He thought he had everything he ever wanted. But there was one problem. He was spending money faster than he could imagine. Day by day, coin by coin, his riches vanished. Before long, he had nothing left. No money, no friends, and to make matters worse, a terrible famine spread across the land. There wasn't enough food for everyone, and the young man was starving. Desperate and alone, he looked for any work he could find. The only job he could get was feeding pigs, an animal that for his people was considered unclean. He was so hungry that he even thought about eating the pig's food. That's how bad things got. Sitting in that muddy pig pen, the young man began to think. He remembered his father's house, the warm meals, the laughter, the safety. Even the servants back home had food to eat and a place to sleep. He said to himself, "What am I doing here? I'll go home. I'll tell my father I've sinned against him and God. I don't deserve to be called his son. But maybe, just maybe, he'll let me work as one of his servants." So he got up, dusted himself off, and started the long walk home. With every step, he wondered, will my father be angry? Will he shut the door on me? But here's where the story takes a beautiful turn. While he was still far away, his father saw him coming. Instead of waiting, the father ran down the road to meet him. He didn't care about the mud, the smell, or the shame. He threw his arms around his son, hugged him tightly, and kissed him. "Father," the son began, tears in his eyes, "I have sinned against heaven and against you. I don't deserve to be called your son." But the father didn't even let him finish. He called out to his servants, "Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. And get the fattest calf. We're going to have a feast. My son was lost and now he's found. He was dead and now he's alive." So the whole household celebrated. Music and laughter filled the air. The father was overjoyed because his beloved son had come home. But the story doesn't end there. The older brother, who had been working in the fields, heard the music and asked what was going on. When he found out his brother had returned and their father was throwing a party, he was angry. He refused to go inside. The father came out and pleaded with him, "Come celebrate with us." But the older son said, "All these years I've worked for you. I never disobeyed you, but you never threw a party for me. But now this son of yours wastes your money and comes home, and you throw him a feast?" The father looked at him with love and said, "My son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we have to celebrate. Your brother was lost and now he's found." And that's the story of the prodigal son. Jesus told this story so we would understand how deep God's love is for us. No matter how far we run, no matter how many mistakes we make, God is always waiting to welcome us back with open arms. He forgives, He restores, and He celebrates when we come home. So remember, God's love is bigger than our biggest mistakes. You are never too far gone to be forgiven and loved.